Hey, wanted to just share a couple of things with you real quick. Number one, thank you so much for your faith, for your vision, for trusting God and having faith that He's wanting to do exceedingly abundantly above through us here in the Tri-Cities. And as we make this move and this step of faith of going mobile over the next few weeks, and just trusting that He wants to use us to reach a greater harvest. As I shared last week, the Good Samaritan is always about reaching those who are hurting, alone, and helpless. And the Good Samaritan takes those whom he has bandaged up and has put on the path to healing. He takes them and he carries them to a safe place. And that's what we want to be as a church, a safe place where Jesus can send and or bring those who are hurting, alone, and helpless, and they can be put on the path of discipleship. Now, if you'll remember in the story or in the message last week, in the story of the Good Samaritan, he comes to the innkeeper and he gives him 2 denarii and he says, I'm going to give you this to get started, but then I want you to have faith in me. As you minister to this man who was hurting, alone, and helpless, who I have saved, who I have rescued, who I have set on a path of discipleship and healing, I need you to trust me and provide what he needs until I return. And when I return, I will repay you for anything that you've invested. So we have people here at Port City who are radical in their generosity. And we want to be a church that is consistently radical in its generosity towards the community and towards those who are hurting, alone, and helpless. So here's the challenge I think that God has given us, and here's how I believe we should respond to that challenge. I believe that God is asking us to trust Him, that God is inviting us to a greater vision, to a greater harvest. And as we take those steps and as we engage in that greater harvest and in that greater mission, there's going to be some cost to us personally of time and treasure. And we have to trust that He will provide everything else that we need. As we invest in the kingdom, it'll provide everything else we need as we go along. So here's the challenge. Some of you are just starting out in your faith and you're just now starting to trust Jesus with your finances. Maybe you're one of those that's given $20, $50 a month, and that's the level of your trust in Him right now. That's great. What I want to invite you to do is in the month of August to try to double your generosity. So if you're trusting Him with 50, to pray and by faith trust Him with 100. If you're given 200, by faith pray and ask Him for guidance and ask Him to give you the faith and ask Him to provide your need and trust Him with 200. Whatever it may be, that you would dare to trust with double generosity. Now, if you don't feel that you can, I don't want to obligate you, but I want to invite you to an opportunity to invest in the kingdom and see God do great things, because God rewards our faith. And as we make this move, and as we invest our resources of time and treasure in the harvest, I believe that He will not only repay us what we invest, but that He will do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask or think. So would you take the challenge? Over the next few weeks, engage in radical generosity and believe Him and trust Him and double your generosity for this month. God bless you. Hope you have a great week.